everyone, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. My name is Asoebi, and today's video is all about the making of this beautiful wedding asoebi hand fan. Now it's wedding season again, and I know a lot of you guys will be getting clients who want you to make this for them, and I thought to share a tutorial on this today. Can you tell that I'm very excited about this? I enjoyed making this and I cannot wait to share it with you guys, and I hope that you guys actually find this tutorial helpful. If you're still yet to subscribe to this channel, please hit on the subscribe button and let us get started. These are the materials we are going to be working with. I have a 9mm bone here. This is one of the smallest. Go for very small bone. In place of bone, you can use a fascinator wire. I have my facing fabric here, and I have a piece of lace that has been lying around in my office, but you can actually replace this with your client's lace that they've sent to you. And then I have some applique and flowers here. Also, I have my 2 nets in red. You just need about 1 yard or 2 yards of this. And then you will need a gum. In place of this, you can use the hot glue. I have a bias here, and then I have a tape. So these are the things I'm going to be working with. If there's any other thing, I will share with you guys in the course of the video. Alright guys, I'm going to start by cutting out the bone. Like I mentioned earlier, this is one of the slimmest you will see, okay? And I'm cutting it out by 20 inches long. So I'm going to cut out 4 of it because I want 4 circles. So 20 inches is what I'm going to be using to cut this out. After cutting it out, go ahead and fold it like I'm doing right now, one on top of the other, and then go ahead and cut some part of your tape. You're going to use it to hold it in place. So I'm just going to place it together like this, and I'm just going to use my tape to hold it down in place. You can also do this by tying it together with thread if you do not have a tape. After I was done taping it down firmly, this is what I had, and I went ahead to do the same thing for 3 more. So I have 4 in total, which is what I'm going to be working with for this particular tutorial. You can do 3, you can do 4, you can do 5. It all depends on how big you want it to look. So after I was through with this, I'm going to be working with my glue now. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover up the bone all the way around with my bias. So I'll place a glue on this end here, as you can see, and I'm just going to place the bias on it. I'll try to just hold it in place because the glue was not as strong as I thought it would be. It actually dries up later, not immediately. So I just placed it back and then used it to hold it down, as you can see, and then I'm turning it around. The aim is to cover off the bone with your fabric, okay? So I'm using this red bias to do it, as you can see. Just cover it up, as you can see. So I'm going to do this all the way around until I get to the other end. Alright guys, when I got very close to the bias, I just went ahead to cut it off. I'm not going to cover off the bias entirely, the tape, sorry, entirely, because the tape area is already very bulky, okay? So I don't want it to be too bulky at that end. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to now use my needle and thread to secure this area. You can actually still use your glue, but I just trust my needle and thread more whenever I'm working with anything, honestly. So I'm just tacking it down and taking the thread back and forth through it to make sure that this is secured in place. So once I'm through with this, I will now cover it up with my net. So this is what it looked like after I was done wrapping it all the way around, as you can see. So you will do the exact same thing for the other 3. So now once you're done wrapping it around, the next thing you want to do is to cover this up with your net. And I'm just going to bring my net in, as you can see, use it to wrap it up, and then pack all of the gathers to one edge. So the edge that I'm packing the gather to is that end where I left my tape, okay, the yellow tape. So I'm packing it to that edge. So you want to try as much as possible to make sure that it all moves to that edge and the shape of your bone still remains. So once you've gotten this, just go ahead and use your needle and thread to secure it on one end, and then tie it up just like you see me doing like this. So I'm going to tie this up very firmly, and then I will just go in with needle and thread on some points just to make sure it's secured in place before I cut it off. So guys, this is what it looked like after I was done wrapping it with my net. You can see it looks very neat and it still retains the shape. So I'm going to do the exact same thing for the other ones. Did it for all the 4 bones, and this is what it looks like, as you can see. So what I'm going to do now is to take them 2 placing one on top of the other and just stitching them together nicely. So I'm just using that bone area as a template, so I'm just stitching the bone areas. As you can see, I will just go back and forth just to join these 2 pieces together, and then I will join the other 2 pieces together, and then all 4 of them together to give me that combined shape. So I want to make sure one is on top of the other all the time. I'm done with these 2, and I'm going to do the exact same thing for the other 2 as well. So just stitch it together, one on top of the other. As you can see, just very little, nothing too much. Okay, just tack it here and there. Still make sure it's movable so that you can actually adjust it to what you want. So now I'm arranging all 4 pieces together, and I'm just also making a stitch on the bone area at the center. You can see they are still movable. I'm making sure that they can still move around so that I can arrange it to the shape I want. I'm done joining all 4 pieces together, and this is what it looks like. So from somewhere in to outside, I measured about 4 1/4 inch, and I used that to create a circle. So from the center point, I used that 4 1/4 that I got to create this circle. So 4 1/4 was the radius that I used for this circle. So I am going ahead to cut it out, and the thing I am using as you actually need a hard material for this. You can use the material that shoemakers use and all of that. I honestly don't know what it is called, but I'm using a carton here because this is what I have, and it still works really fine. So I'm going ahead to cut this all the way around, and like I said, the radius was 4.25. okay, I'm not going to be placing it round like this. Okay, we'll be having it into 2, so I'll cut it into 2 equal halves, just like you see me doing like this. So once you're done making your circle, divide it into 2 equal halves, so you have 2 semicircles. So this is what I have, and this is how we'll place it, as you can see. Okay, so what I need to do now is to wrap each of the semicircles. So let's go ahead and do that. To wrap it, I'm going to be making use of my satin fabric. I've placed my semicircle on it, and I'm just cutting all the way around. You can just give it about 3/4 inch stitching allowance all the way around. As you can see, just make sure you have allowances all the way around. And the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to have my gum all the way around the edges, just like you see me doing like this, and then I'm going to use the fabric to cover it up. Just watch what I'm doing and do exactly the same thing. On the curved edge, as you can see, I'm making some notches around. Go ahead and do the same thing so that it will be easy for you to cover up. If you feel you need to go in with more gum, you can go ahead and do that as well. Just make sure it doesn't show over on the right side. This is the wrong side, so you can have as much gum, but not on the right side. Make sure it doesn't show over on the right. This is what it looks like after I was done. You guys know that you can use your hot glue to hold this in place. Okay, so now I'm going to wrap this with my lace, just like I did with the satin fabric. So I will just also cut out the lace, giving it allowances just exactly as I did with the satin fabric, as you can see. So make sure you have enough allowance to go all the way to the back, and then go ahead and start gumming again. Okay, so I'm just going to cover up with my lace, just like you see me doing like this. This is quite time consuming. It's not as easy as it looks, and it actually takes some time. So you can see that's why I actually had to speed this up a bit, because it's time consuming. So just watch what I'm doing. Use your gum to secure it in place. Make sure that your glue is a very good one. I feel like I should have gotten a better glue, because it was my first time trying this type of glue. I don't work a lot with glue, so I don't really know which one is better. But at the end of the day, it did the work. I'm done with one, and then this is what it's looking like after I was done covering this up. You can already have an idea of what it's going to look like. Went ahead to do the same thing for the other part as well, and now I have my 2 pieces covered. So now I'm going to place my gum on the areas that I'm going to be using this to cover. You can notice I only placed it on the bones. Don't allow it to pour on the net. It would honestly start looking very funny and looking very messy. Okay, just on the bones and then turn it over, place it only on the bones. You can place it on the rest of the fabric you're using to cover it, but not on the net area. Make sure it's just on the bone area of the net. And once you're done, go ahead and cover it up with the other one like this. And on this gum, for some reason, I felt like it was not doing the work as much, and generally I am not always comfortable working with just gum. So what I went ahead to do was to go in with my needle and thread. Now, because this is a carton that I had under, it's actually easy to pass my needle and thread through. So I held it in place here very nicely. As you can see, now it is staying perfectly in place. This place was so nice, and I decided to do it all the way around. Okay, so I went in on the middle part as well. So despite the fact that I have my gum there, I just decided to go in back and forth with the needle and thread to just secure it in place. Trust me, if you do this, you would, like, for someone like me who doesn't ever trust gum, I don't trust gums, or whatever type of gum, I don't always trust gums. I always prefer to tack when it comes to sewing related stuffs. So I just decided to go in all the way around with my needle and thread, and this actually helped me secure it in place. Now, another thing I did was, after I was done securing the sides, I decided that this other area here, this bottom area, I wanted to cover it up with my needle and thread. So I'm just sewing the net fabric together, that's the lace fabric together, just sewing them together, because when you are done, you will notice that that place is open. There's like an opening there. Okay, so I am using my needle and thread to secure it together, and you guys will see how it looked after I was done. So guys, this is what it looked like after I was done covering up at that opening with my needle and thread, and I went ahead to stitch all the way around the body of this hand fan. It looks very strong. And now the last thing, this is optional. I just have some flowers that I want to place on the part that I intend to use as the front. You can actually do this on both sides, and as always, you can decide to use gum to secure this in place, but for me, like I mentioned, I prefer to use needle and thread, so I just went ahead to tack it in place. And after I was done with everything, this is what I had, and this is the final look of our beautiful asoebi hand fan. Thank you so much guys for watching. I hope you find this tutorial helpful, and I will definitely be seeing you guys in my next one. Bye.